as we speak, a Category 5 hurricane is barreling through the Caribbean. We have never before recorded a storm this strong, this early in the year over the Atlantic. Hurricane Beryl has already inflicted ruin across several Caribbean islands. Parts of St. Vincent and the Grenadines are without water and electricity. At least one person was killed. Well, 95% of Grenada is without power. You can see the sheer force of the storm in this video, taken from the room of someone's home. Well, in Barbados, entire livelihoods have been wiped out. The fishing industry there, a key to the island's economy. At least 20 ships sunk and many more sustained damage. This is how one woman resident described the situation.
I'm watching fishermen friends, their boats destroyed and still being destroyed. Boats are sinking. As we're talking, their boats sinking. You understand? And it's total devastation.
Well, the hurricane now barreling towards Jamaica. It is expected to make landfall on Wednesday afternoon with life-threatening winds and a storm surge. Well, Simon Steele is the Executive Secretary on Climate Change for the United Nations. He is from Grenada, where the storm hit yesterday. He joins us today from Bonn, Germany, where the latest UN climate negotiations took place. Mr. Steele, it's good to have you. I know you've got family who've been personally impacted by this. How are they, and how extensive has the damage been for them in Grenada?
Well, thank you, Becky. I mean, this is a particularly difficult and challenging time for those within the Caribbean that have been impacted by this. I have not been able to speak to my family on island for the last 24 hours or so. Communications have been cut. There is no power on island. But they are through social media, through other avenues. The picture is starting to form. So my family, immediate family, is safe, but the island has been devastated. So we're talking about the Windward Islands from Grenada up to St. Lucia, but the eye of Hurricane Beryl struck my particular island, which is Carriacou, which is just 20 miles north of Grenada, a 13 square mile island, population of 10,000 people. The most intense part of the hurricane, struck yesterday morning, local time. The island has been flattened. The reports that are coming out show a very, very distressing signal. I spoke literally just half an hour ago to some family members, and this current period, what they have just experienced, is traumatic to say the least. There may well be losses of life. There's been loss of life confirmed in Grenada and up in St. Vincent. The formal assessments will be done over the coming hours, so we'll get a better picture. But what the islanders are having to cope with now in terms of the coming days and the coming weeks. Buildings have been destroyed, no roofs. There is another storm that is barreling its way toward them. There will be additional heavy rains over the coming period with nowhere to shelter. So the picture is a heartbreaking one. And then the weeks and the months ahead, as the islanders try to recover what they can of their lives and livelihoods, will be a significant challenge for them.
Yeah. Simon, this is so personal for you, I know, and I'm sorry, and we wish your family well and everybody who is caught up in this. This, as we know, is an historic storm. Never before have we recorded a storm this strong, this early in the year over the Atlantic. Look, I mean, this is a region that is not unfamiliar with significant storms, but this is historic, as I say, given that this is so early in the season. How is climate change exacerbating what we are seeing, Simon? Just explain.
Well, with hurricanes in particular, we're seeing increased temperature year after year, global temperatures rising off the scales. That in ocean states causes the oceans to themselves warm, and the evaporation intensifies both the strength of storms that are generated, but also the frequency of storms. Again, year in, year out, we hear broken records of the number of named storms. This year, the Atlantic hurricane season is predicted to again hit unprecedented levels, the most active yet. But it is a direct consequence of global heating that is fueling these intense hurricanes. But in addition to that, we also have heat waves that are killing thousands around the world. Fires, droughts, the extremes that we're reaching, not just in developing countries, but developed countries also. What we're seeing are clear patterns that every continent, every country is now being impacted by the effects of climate change. The evidence is clear to see.
So do you
right
believe, let me just ask you this, do you believe that richer nations will start providing what is this much needed cash for loss and damage, for adaptation, this climate finance that you and I have been talking about now, it seems, for months and months and months? We are seeing this damage wrought in the Caribbean, and you've talked about it's not what happens today, and that's frightening enough, but it's what happens tomorrow and the day after, how people recover from this. Are we seeing enough action? You've just wrapped up the Bonn climate discussions. Are you confident that countries are on board at this point?
Well, if we look at where we are, where the negotiations are, where climate action is, we are nowhere near where we need to be. Whether that's on finance, whether that is on providing the technical solutions to address the climate crisis, we're nowhere near where we need to be. So you're asking me, am I hopeful? We have a process that clearly sets out what all nations, but in particular, the richest nations, the developed nations, need to deliver on. And that concentration in terms of where action and expectation lies is within the G20. The G20 constitutes 80% of global emissions and 85% of the global GDP. So the wealth is there, but also the sources of global heating rest there. And we have a process that outlines who is responsible for what, when, and how. The challenge that we have is, and led by governments, is actually following those very clear responsibilities and prescriptions. And that is a challenge that we're going to face as we head to Baku for COP29 later this year, and Belém in Brazil next year, where a new goal on climate finance is to be decided, and a new round of climate action plans, which demonstrate country by country those actions that need to be taken to avert this crisis.